Once upon a time, the relationship between President William Samoei Ruto and the Kiharu Member of Parliament, Ndindi Nyoro, had a very blissful political relationship. In fact, Ndindi Nyoro, Rigathi Gachagua, Kimani Ichungwa, and many others were the foot soldiers who used to defend William Samoei Ruto. But politics being what it is a very dynamic and a very funny game. People have switched roles. And today we have seen people like Junet Mohammed and Ali Hassan Joho. They have replaced Ndindi Nyoro. And they are the people who are now defending William Samoei Ruto. Ndindi Nyoro was ready to die for William Samoei Ruto. He decamped Uhuru. It was among the group that decamped Uhuru before 2022 election. And they believed in William Ruto. At some point, he was even promised bigger things in the UDA. I remember at some point he was being mentioned as the Hey Apparel. He was even being used to try and checkmate Rigathi Gachagua. But Ndindi Nyoro made a U-turn. Immediately Raila got into the UDA government and he realized that someone was being played. He realized William Ruto was playing important cards under the table and he switched off. He defied orders to continue disrespecting Rigathi Gachagua and he refused to sign that impeachment bill. And even on the day when Gachagua was being impeached, he was nowhere to be seen. Neither did he even attend the swearing-in ceremony of Kithure Kindiki, the current DP. And that ended their once blissful relationship. They don't read from the same page again. And we've continued to read that Ndindi Nyoro is among many other leaders who are being targeted after the handshake or broad-based government was formed and the cabinet reshuffle is looming. PSS are about to be reshuffled and the House committees. We've had news headlines like Ruto targets Rigathi allies in parliamentary committee purge. And Ndindi Nyoro has been one of them. We've had people like Geoffrey Ruku, people like Kimani Ichungwa saying that if these House committee members and House committee heads are not ready to work, then they could easily be replaced. But Ndindi Nyoro is unshaken. Amid all these headlines, he knows very well he's being targeted for standing firm with Rigathi Gachagua. But he has decided to lie low. And what he's doing is that he's doing the very primary wrong. And he knows whom his bosses are. The people of Kiharu constituency. Now, as William Ruto continues to target Ndindi Nyoro and plans for his downfall, Ndindi Nyoro has got some bad news to William Samoei Ruto. Just recently, Ndindi Nyoro was voted as the best performing member of parliament in 5 years in a row. Since he was elected, he has ensured that he does that which took him to parliament. In terms of development, he's been at the forefront. And Ndindi Nyoro was given that accolade for the 5th time against the chagrin of all those who wish that he would fall for refusing to betray Rigathi Gachagua. Many times I visit Ndindi Nyoro's social media page, the Facebook or Twitter, and the only thing that Ndindi Nyoro, tweets about are development projects. He launches one after the other. Schools at a higher standard, including primary schools. And sometimes I read those and I think, is he only seeking for attention? Because there are people who are good at PR. But I've got friends who come from Kiharu and they confirm to me that indeed Ndindi Nyoro is working hard to ensure that the money, the taxpayers' money that has been given to him, is putting to proper and prudent use. And is confirming that what we read in the social media are indeed true.
On social media are real. Last time I was meeting, maybe those who we share social media platforms. I went to Kiharu on Monday last week. I was meeting the teams that will be implementing the projects we are doing in December. The head teachers were telling me, like a school called Muthigiriri Primary, that people are having weddings, they are going for photo shooting in our primary schools. And for me, that is very important. And for me, the pinnacle of leadership is not about the cars we drive. It is about the decisions we make to impact society now and in the future. And there is no other better route than education. And that is why it is very primary in the decisions.
You know, when did Nyoro realize that he was the target of victimization or punishment for declining to betray Rigathi Gachagua, he switched off. He decided to concentrate at the constituency level. And you know what? All these other roles that people are given, like being budget committee chair, being the majority leader, these are secondary. The primary role belongs to the people who elected you to power. Because being a committee chair, being a committee member, house committees, those are very trivial. And I know there are allowances and all that. But the reason why you were even given that role is because, first of all, your people believed in you. And Ndindi Nyoro understands that had he not been elected as a member of parliament, he wouldn't have been the chair of the parliamentary budget committee. And so he swears his first allegiance to the people who elected him. And this is very contrary to people who are making noise and they don't respect the people who elected them, people like Ndindi Nyoro. And I'm drawing this conclusion from the Rigathi impeachment that we have sung about, that there are people who are told by their constituents that please don't impeach Rigathi Gachagua. That is it. You know, the house was divided. There were people who had the blessings of their constituents. I'm sure members from Nyanza, members of parliament from Nyanza, might have had blessings from the people who elected them that you go and vote out Rigathi Gachagua. But for members of parliament who are coming from Mount Kenya, they were told explicitly that please don't vote out Rigathi Gachagua. But they went against the people of Mount Kenya, the people of the constituents who elected them. And I think this is very precarious because if you are, for example, you are a leader of majority, you are serving at the mercy of the president, even ministers. Do you know there are ministers or cabinet secretaries who really wish they are elected back? After Gen Z's protest, Ruto dissolved the cabinet. There are people who are kicked out and they have not been given anything. So I would rather work at the mercies of the people who elected me, because they will look at what I've done for the 5 years that they elected me and I can be re-elected. But waiting to be appointed by a president is very, very dangerous, because you can see enemies of yesterday are now friends and friends of yesterday are now enemies. And Ndindi Nyoro understands this very well. He realized he was in a wrong trajectory and he decided, even if William Ruto is going to target me and takes away the position, the parliamentary committee, I will still remain the best member of parliament, not only within my constituency, but within the country. And this is why I'm telling you that William Ruto suffers blow, because he's targeting a man who is loved by the constituents. He's targeting a man who is given accolades for the 5th time in a row as the best performing member of parliament. So even if you dismantle him, you remove him from the House committee, he will still remain a member of parliament. And if there is one assurance that Ndindi Nyoro has, is that he will be re-elected. He can even be a governor. Ndindi Nyoro has a future. He could even be part of the future generations who will form the executive in the subsequent governments. This is why I'm saying that it doesn't matter. If they like, they can remove him from the House committee, but he remains the best. You can disagree with that fact, but if you can be identified for 5 years in a row as the best performing MP, I think that is an accolade that even from my desk, I want to congratulate Ndindi Nyoro. And I know there are many other things that maybe you don't like or you don't agree with, but if one is using taxpayers' money prudently, let us give credit where it's due. And Ndindi Nyoro has just beaten William Ruto.